Can you make money trading US tech titans? That was the subject of a recent Finweek cover, penned by that magazine's technology guru Simon Dingle. He's joined today by David Shapiro from SaaSfin. Call you a little bit crazy, Simon. I just need to double check something with you. 2 weeks before you were talking about trading tech titans, there was another cover, which I suspect you had a hand in, which said, "It's a bubble, run away from technology stocks." You're a typical IT blimmin' investor.
I didn't write the first cover, Bruce, and it honed in especially on social media stocks. Okay. So we've seen the IPO recently of LinkedIn, for example, and we've seen massive valuation of that company. We saw them quadruple their share price on their first day of trading or something ridiculous like that. And the speculation by Mark Ashton in that particular cover was that we're seeing a bubble emerge here, and I think I agree with him. However, when you look at the full gambit of tech stocks in the USA, I think there's some good value. There's some phenomenons like Apple. And of course, the big question is, can one make money trading anything at the moment? And I don't think technology is a bad option.
Okay, technology is not a bad option. David Shapiro has read this particular book before. What was it, 1999, David?
I've read this book many times before and been hurt many, many times before. But I think it comes down to the valuations are there, but who's going to survive? If Simon's talking about trading, wonderful trading opportunities. Trading in my parlance means buy today, sell next week or something. Yes. Can you buy for 5 years or 3 or 4 years? That's a difficult question, which I think we've got to put. You know, those are the questions we've got to ask Simon.
Hospital pass back to Simon. Just hold up that thing you've got in front of you, please.
Yes.
This is one of the most wonderful pieces of technology that the world has seen in recent times. It's called the iPad. That is the iPad 2. It is the most recent innovation. Not bad, I know.
Not bad at all.
I remembered what you told me. But here you've got the iPad 2. Now, the big question is, what will supersede the iPad? Because you've got to be buying that company now, not the world's biggest company, because iPad recently passed ExxonMobil as the world's biggest company. You've got to be nuts, have you not?
Please, let's talk about Apple.
Your favorite thing.
So, you know, when we're talking about Apple at the moment, which is an amazing company, I started my cover story with a recollection of a trader I spoke to in the States, I think it was about a year and a half ago. At that stage, Apple was trading at $140, and he was going, "It's too late. I wish I'd bought into this company when it was $85 the year before." You know, now Apple's hovering at a market cap of about $348 billion at last check. It's bigger than ExxonMobil. PE of 14.5, and there's a strong argument to be made that Apple is undervalued, and not just a little bit either, which sounds ridiculous, right?
Okay, David.
But if we look at where they're going from an ecosystem play, it's not about this hardware anymore. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Where they're going from an ecosystem perspective and their cloud solutions, when we talk about tackling Google and Microsoft head on, that's where we're going to see the growth coming from Apple if you buy into that particular religion.
And that's the point. Okay, he said 2 very interesting things there, David. The one thing he said, this is an amazing company, and then he says if you're going to go and tackle this particular religion, because there is a religion around Apple. There is a religion and the devout followers of Steve Jobs. Great companies don't always make great investments.
No, and coming back to, let's go back in history of it, because the last great, you know, when I started in the market, this is how long ago, it was IBM. Never sell IBM. Then it became Microsoft, all with the same kind of outlook. You know, they will be ahead. Then it was Google, Facebook. Now we're in the Apple, Google, or the Android battle. We're waiting for iPhone 5.
Yes.
iPhone 6? No. Now it's cloud computing. We don't know. And I'm relying on Simon to say, yeah, this is going to be the great thing. My worry is that it might not be the best great thing. You know, someone else might come up with some other solution. So from an investment point of view, while we love it, I mean, I agree, I would love to own Apple. I do own Google, and I'm doing very well on Google, but I don't know what...
and you're doing a hell of a well on Google, you're not quite sure why.
No.
What does it make?
Because I listen to people like Simon.
but let's talk about value, because you mentioned an interesting company in IBM. What would have happened if you'd held on to IBM since 1996, when Fortune magazine said it's all over?
And I'm going back even further back.
Okay.
What would have happened?
Well, over the last 3 years, you would have seen a magnificent return to grace for IBM. 12% year on year for investors. It's a fantastic stock to hold at the moment.
But they repositioned themselves, you know, from mainframes to more services and other areas that they're in, which I can't understand.
No. But the point is, the cover story said, trade tech stocks, not invest in tech stocks. Did you mean invest?
I did.
It's really important because I understand the concept of trading tech stocks because you can trade trends.
Sure.
And with the speed at which things are developing in the IT sector, and with it was your friends at Google the other day buying Motorola Mobility.
Yes.
Was Motorola Mobility?
Yes.
My technology is fantastic. But here they go. They're going into the hardware space. The game is changing considerably, but it's changing so fast.
Yes.
And you see applications and platforms and everything else disappear almost as quickly as they are created.
Look,
that's scary.
I think, to be fair, Bruce, I was advocating both. You know, I'm very loath to give day trading advice. You know, that's like trying to advise somebody on the best strategy walking into Sun City. That's that's my belief. So I'm very loath to do that. We did talk about trading fortunes, for example, via IDX, how you would go about sort of day-to-day trading in technology stocks. I personally believe in value investing and longer-term sort of approaches to these things. But you're right. There's a lot of volatility, not just in technology, but in the markets in general at the moment. There is this bubble that we sense emerging, especially around these social media stocks and gaming stocks like Zynga that's about to hit IPO. So, yeah.
Is Apple Steve Jobs?
It very much has been Steve Jobs, and their mission for the last 2 years has been trying to convince investors that there's more to this company than Steve. There is. Steve makes these sort of grand statements whenever he launches products. And he said something interesting when he launched the iPad. He said Apple stands at the juncture, let's get this right, at the intersection of what was it? Technology and the liberal arts. There you go. See, I've got it. And a lot of people glanced over this because the liberal arts is a bit of an ambiguous term and not well understood outside of the States. But what he was saying is that technology is humanizing, that we're finally taking anthropology into respect here. It's not just about engineering anymore. That we've finally made the transition that the automotive industry made when it stopped being about engines and started being about passengers, And he showed this device, which to him spearheads this movement. That, there are no screws here. There's nothing for you to mess with. You could give this to your grandmother. It could be the first computer she's ever seen and she'll be able to use it. Likewise, your 2-year-old can engage here without being able to read.
Shall I show you my phone? What my 2-year-old did? David Chibero, are you going out tomorrow morning and buying Apple? Are you convinced?
Yeah, I am.
Crazy.
But whether I'm going to make money on it, I will hold Steve.
Simon.
Simon.
We can blame Steve and hold Simon accountable.
Steve Jobs.
Yes.
I'm going to hold Simon responsible.
Okay, there we go. You can hold Simon responsible too. Simon Dingle at finweek.co.za. That's it from the Summit Investor. My thanks for watching. My thanks to David Shapiro from Sasfin and Simon Dingle from Finweek. Really nice to see you. Really nice to get an insight into the world of trading and investing in technology. Don't burn your fingers. Good night.